Welcome into another episode of the PHNX Tailgate. Let's run it. Saul Bookman, Marcos Deniza Padre, Southbound Community College Cougar, and best of all, a Wildcat from the University of Arizona.
Johnny Venerable, Maricopa, Arizona. We have a Denny's and an IHOP.
Bo Brock, the Harvard of Maricopa County, Scottsdale Community College, Fighting Artichoke.
Shane Diefenbach, North Scottsdale Circus School of Arizona. Honk, honk.
As always, we're brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's favorite sportsbook app. Obviously, the Bo, Johnny, you just saw the intro. I'm Saul. Guys, we're just going to go ahead and start off. There was a lot of fun action yesterday, but there was a lot of surprising action yesterday. I'm going to go selfishly and start it off with my alma mater.
Yes.
One of my other alma maters, I should say. And a beatdown of epic proportions, something I don't think anybody saw coming. The Kansas State Wildcats, 48-0 over Oklahoma State, a top 10 team, just getting obliterated. I mean, if you lose by 40-plus points and get shut out, I think you should be banned from the top 50.
Yeah, they're going to fall outside of the top 10. I still think they're going to be ranked. You know, they had that comeback victory against Texas, won a lot of us a lot of money as an underdog at home last week against fraudulent Steve Sarkisian. I don't know if they took this week off or what was going on. Like, Kansas State is a real program, but they have 2 losses on the year. This is not like they didn't play out a conference game against some SEC team. It was the most surprising result easily, I think, thus far the college football season.
Kansas State is a really good team.
They are.
Like, they flubbed big time, and I still don't understand how, against Tulane at the beginning of the season. And then they fell apart last week against TCU at home, or at TCU, even though they had the lead at halftime, 28-17. Like, they're a solid program. They demolished Oklahoma.
Yep.
They've won a lot of big games this year. But nobody saw this coming.
It was a domination. It wasn't even like a letdown after a big win over Texas last week. I mean, it was Kansas State just kind of imposed their will on them the entire game. So, yeah, that was probably the biggest shocker. The fact that Mike Gundy's offense was just shut down and didn't put up any points.
How about this stat? 30 rushing attempts, 54 yards, 1.8 yards per carry.
How about this stat? This is the first time a top 10 team has lost by 40-plus points and gotten shut out since 1968.
Wow.
I didn't even think that had ever happened before.
That mullet's not going to save you now, Mike.
I remember a couple like Wisconsin, Ohio State games, but I think at least the Badgers got on the board.
Yeah.
Shut out.
Just
I mean, that's
crazy.
This day and age. That's you better be puffing your chest out today in Manhattan.
Oh,
Kansas.
absolutely. I'm sure Manhattan was lit. They were probably burning down Aggieville last night, just going crazy. All right, let's talk about an actual top 10 team that doesn't stink.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Tennessee Volunteers. Guys, I'm going to say it. I think Tennessee is the second best team in the country, and I don't think there's any debate about that. Ohio State played well against Penn State yesterday. I'll give them that. But it was really because of, and I can't even remember his name, number 44 for Ohio State, who had like basically a strip sack, fumble recovery, an interception, all within a span of like 3 minutes. He had made so many plays that he basically single-handedly accounted for 21 points in that fourth quarter by himself. So cool.
Steve Keim has already drafted him.
Yeah. He's already excited about that. But Tennessee, guys. First of all, did you guys see the intro to the field?
Yeah.
Missed it.
Oh,
it's fantastic.
Electric.
They have the best home field advantage in college football right now. Their uniforms were fantastic. They look like a semi-pro team, and I think they're the closest that we're going to get for a true competitor for Georgia, and I think they're more explosive offensively than Georgia is. Now, defensively, do they have the horses? I don't know, but I watched them against a very competent Kentucky Wildcats team with a lot of big victories and a top 10 draft pick at quarterback in Will Levis be completely outclassed. Hooker, to me, he's the runaway Heisman winner. They've got the number 1 wide receiver in the country, and that's going to keep them in a lot of games. So at the end of the day, I think this is a team that reminds me so much of the Auburn-led or Cam Newton-led Auburn team when they just came out of nowhere and they ran roughshod against the SEC and they upended Alabama and they won the national championship. I don't know if this is sustainable because Hooker's going to be gone, Hyatt's going to be gone after this year, but like I think they're a true contender to beat Georgia and win the national championship.
Wow. I get to go Lee Corso and just say not so fast, my friend, because I just think that Georgia it's fun, right? Tennessee plays a fun brand of football, but they don't play defense like Georgia. Georgia just dismantled Florida again yesterday. They can play it offensively good enough, but that defense is the difference maker there. I just think that what they bring defensively, we saw mistakes made by this Tennessee team that they were able to overcome against a down in terms of Alabama down.
Right.
That they were able to overcome at the end of the game that I don't think they'd necessarily be able to make up for next week against Georgia.
Yeah, but what I would say is it's all a learning curve, right? Like you got a team that's never really been in that position to excel at a top tier stage. And there's some growing pains, and to me, beating Alabama the way they beat Alabama was better than a loss.
Yeah,
and they were able to learn from it. A lot of mistakes that they made, especially in the second half. Guys, we don't have to fucking wait. We don't have to figure out if they're better than Georgia or any of this stuff because we're having it this next Saturday.
Oh man,
I assume Tennessee should jump to number 2 in the polls, in my opinion.
They should.
I think, I mean, the pollsters would be stupid not to put them at number 2 because then that's number 1 versus number 2 in Athens. Let's fucking go.
If you're Bama, you're rooting for Tennessee, right? Because that makes your loss look better.
Yes.
Okay. And there's no scenario in which 3 SEC teams can be in the Final Four.
There is always a scenario.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Let's say Tennessee beats Georgia or vice versa.
Okay.
And then they face. Can they face off in the SEC championship?
Not Tennessee and Georgia. They're in the same side.
On the same side of the thing.
I think Bama has got the advantage to where they've got the 1 loss already. They could win the SEC championship.
Yeah.
And then you've got 3 1-loss SEC teams.
Yeah. And 3-1. Well, but this year the problem is that this year you can make an argument for several other teams to be in the college football playoff, especially if they're undefeated.
Yeah.
You got Clemson, you got Ohio State, you got TCU, like all those teams.
Michigan
are legit in Michigan. Yeah. So that's going to be really tough. But fun times in college football for sure. And then let's bring it back to local.
Yep.
As we always do at the end of this. I know sometimes we don't want to, but we'll start off with the team that did win yesterday, which was the ASU Sun Devils up in Colorado playing the potentially worst team in college football history. And I'm saying that as a Wildcat who only won 1 game last year.
Yeah.
But the Buffaloes are trash.
Yeah.
What were your overall thoughts on Trenton Bourguet's starting debut?
Yeah, he looked good. You know what? I kept thinking about watching that game was if ASU had won the week before against Stanford, they would hire this interim coach. And that's almost the best thing that could have happened to them. Give them a false sense of security, that thinking that he's going to lead this program. We knew they were going to win yesterday. That was very much scripted exactly how we thought. Kudos to ASU. Kudos to Sun Devils. They had a fantastic post-game show. Check it out if you missed it. But I'm just thinking to myself, had they beaten Stanford, like they would have given this guy a contract extension, and it would not have been earned because the bottom of the Pac-12 is so bad. So I'm happy that they won yesterday, but they still need to go a different direction after this year.
What do they do at the quarterback spot going forward? I mean, Bourguet Jr., you got Emory Jones. He's going to still have eligibility. I mean, it was a get-right game. It felt good.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you know that it's against one of the worst teams possibly in the conference's history, I mean, how far does that go? And how do you just take it for what it was? It was kind of just a good dub and then move on. And then you're probably going to take some more lumps between now and the
You let Urban Meyer pick his quarterback out of the transfer portal. That's what you do.
We're not even talking about Urban Meyer. That's never going to happen. Not even a chance. But what I will say is listen, Trenton Bourguet is very solid behind the center. He was solid against Washington.
Yeah.
He should have got the start last week, in my opinion, because I just felt like he could see the field better, understood the reads better than Emory Jones.
Agreed.
Which is weird because he's 5'11".
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but he absolutely does. There's a difference as far as him spreading the ball around, just having
he gets
better grasp.
Emory Jones cannot hit the easy completions, whereas he can, and that keeps sustained drives, and we saw that live even against Stanford. So yesterday they were making those easy completions that have been not easy for them all season.
Speaking of easy completions and not being able to make them, Russell Wilson's Denver Broncos are behind now to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who just scored to take the lead. Fun times.
Pray for our DMVR peeps.
Fun times. And if you want to have – let's before we finish this up, let's talk about the Arizona Wildcats. To me, guys, I watched the whole game. I'm happy with the trajectory of where this Wildcats team is going. Defensively, they have a lot of room to grow. They need a lot more. They need to beef that side up. In the offseason, they beefed up the offense. They got a lot of transfers, and a lot of them are just outstanding. On the defensive side, they just don't have the dudes to be able to stop the run up front. They don't have the guys athletically that can match up with a team like USC. But with just about a couple minutes left to go, they were right there with a chance to win the game, and they just couldn't pull through. I'm happy with the Wildcats.
Jaden Delora, is that how you pronounce his last name, is going to be all Pac-12 before his career is over. I'm convinced of that. Every week he's throwing multiple touchdowns. He can move outside of the pocket. They are a fun watch offensively. Defensively, it's rough because it's a little bit deflating. Every time they score a touchdown, they give one back up. But that, to me, is you got to have those caliber players defensively. They've had a top, 3 to 5 recruiting class in the Pac-12 back-to-back years. So the infrastructure is there. You can see what they want to do and what they want to be. They are just probably a year away from – I thought they'd be bowl eligible this year. Couple breaks go their way, they would have gotten there. It's going to take something. They'd have to win out, essentially. I don't think it's going to happen. But to be like this USC team, I thought could have gone undefeated, win the Pac-12. They had the unfortunate loss against Utah. It's the best offense in the Pac-12, and they were with them pound for pound, shot for shot. You got to feel good if you're a Wildcat fan.
You got encouraged. It was a fun game to watch, but as far as like USC from a national perspective, you got to feel a little uneasy. Like, can they go unscathed the rest of the way?
No,
can they take out an Oregon team potentially? No. Yeah, I mean,
they're gonna have a nice bowl game, and Lincoln Riley's ingratiated himself, and he said, "Okay, I can win without my players. Wait till I get my players."
Fired up yesterday, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah. Well, he had every right to be fired up yesterday. Now, watching that was atrocious refereeing. Oh, shocker. By Pac-12 refs, who are probably the worst in the country. So, but if you want to enjoy your Sunday, we have some nice tasty beverages from Four Peaks right now. I'm drinking the Maskrug Monsoon, which is a very Oktoberfesty kind of drink. Dunkel Lager, yeah.
Killed
what you got?
I got the double pumpkin porter, as does my counterpart over there, Bo Brock. It is the most pumpkin beer I've ever had in the best possible way. Inject it into my veins, and guess what? I'm going to drink this well after Halloween is over.
I like this. It's robust, I would say, as it's on the label here. It's also haunting. Yeah, it's 'tis the season, right? You got double pumpkin, doubling down. Four Peaks does it the best. It's actually I was talking to him the other day while we were doing our broadcast there on Wednesday. The pumpkin, it doesn't go away after Halloween. They ride this thing out till past Christmas. So
you can have gourds out at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Absolutely. So. Pumpkin porter's not going away. They just tap double pumpkin. It's delicious.
They're still doing their haunted tours throughout the remainder of the month. I think the first week of November as well. So if you want to take advantage of that, we've gone on one. It was fantastic. Very fun, very informative, just a good overall time. And come out to our parties or our specials, whatever, our tailgates and watch parties and stuff like that we have periodically throughout the months. You get drink specials, food specials, the whole 9 yards. We'll keep you posted when we do this the next time. So.
Get your tickets for all of that good stuff, and then get your app going for Underdog Fantasy right now. We're going to get signed up. We're going to get you signed up for Underdog Fantasy so you can double your first deposit up to $100. Bo, you were sharing with me before the show all the tasty nuggets as it relates to the ups and downs of Underdog. When it comes to the Arizona Cardinals statistics, what do you like today?
Yeah, I'm addicted to this app, and I look at the higher lower. It's easy for a simpleton person like myself, where I just need to pick: does he go over or does he go under?
And where you go with your baby.
Lower.
Yeah,
I like DeAndre Hopkins again, higher, 6.5 receptions, and then this is when you were talking about on Friday in PHNX Cardinals. Eno Benjamin, 52.5 rush yards. That seems like he's going to reach that potentially by halftime.
Minnesota Vikings give up the #1 yards per play in the NFL at 6, so I would hammer all the Cardinals statistics for yardage in this game. You can too on Underdog Fantasy. You can search in the App Store, click on the link in the show notes, sign up with, you guessed it, promo code PHNX, and again, double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PHNX. Get in on the action today, friends.
Also, just a reminder, if you do take in some Four Peaks, you have to be 21 and over. All right. Emma, what do we got for Cervesa today?
All right, you guys. So the beloved Cardinals are playing the Vikings today, as we all know. So we're going to be doing a little game called Myth or Fact.
Okay.
Sorry,
wow, there was a big
nice little pause
delayed
there.
pause there.
Dramatic.
I had to think for a second.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah. Myth or fact? Pretty much just like Viking facts.
Okay.
Or myths, I guess you could say. So first one. They wore horned helmets. Myth or fact?
That's a myth.
It's got to be a fact. I can't just.
It's in every medium about a Viking ever, so I would say that's a fact.
You would turn my world upside down if this is myth.
Why? Like, when did that even start? If they who made that
I
up?
think that
Hollywood?
started like Conan the Barbarian or some dumb shit. Yeah.
It's
like,
a myth.
Yeah.
And the first illustration of a Viking wearing a horned helmet was produced 1825.
That was definitely well after the Vikings existed.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew it.
That seems very irresponsible.
Yeah.
When they have him portrayed in like series and movies now.
You mean movies are lies?
Yeah. Well,
oh my gosh.
Let's.
Whenever has there been a movie that has portrayed something not exactly
Listen,
the way it really was?
I feel sick to my stomach. I watched the Jeffrey Dahmer reincarnation on Netflix, and that was not factual based on what I'm reading. So Hollywood's a big fraudulent liar right now, is what I'm hearing.
You're just learning this now?
As if they had to insert like mythical parts of that whole story, like that story couldn't stand on its own.
I know.
Yeah, like the awfulness of that
Terrible.
thing. Crazy.
All right, second one. Vikings were known for their excellent hygiene. Myth or fact?
Ooh, I'm gonna say fact.
No chance. It just seemed, and no offense to my Norse friends, but I would think like a Viking is just kind of just grabbing his hand in his dirt, washing himself off, and not showering a whole lot, not flossing for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking salmonella. They're eating a lot of bad meat, right? You think of the mascot for the
No.
Vikings today. He's going to be greasy and dirty. But
Bad
again,
meat?
yeah, they're eating.
They were by the water. They were eating nothing but fish.
No, I don't
It's
know.
gotta be fact.
I feel like
They're
if
flossing their teeth with fish
everything I
bones.
know or I thought I knew about Vikings is debunked now. So
Yeah.
I'll go myth as well.
That's a fact.
Saul's
Saul's
guy
actually
Charles Whittle Pike is just he's killing it in the
Yeah.
chat.
Get off Google,
I'm
Charles.
killing
Come
it.
on now.
I'm killing it.
Yeah, Saul's actually quite like spot on with this because it literally says that they enjoy dips in the natural hot springs, and he said that.
Well, who doesn't? I mean,
Yeah.
if I had hot springs available, I'd be showering more than I do.
Well, all right.
You
Anyway,
don't got that in your Maricopa
You don't-
backyard?
We don't have a hot
You
springs.
don't-
We dig a hole and fill it with water
You
with the
don't have-
hose.
You don't have warm water in Maricopa? All right.
You know the answer to that question.
oh no, oh no. All right, Vikings used a unique liquid to start fires. Myth or fact?
Fact.
It's a strange. I'm just gonna say fact.
Maybe
It's
the
off
first ones
wall.
to use like a kerosene type.
I'll go myth to play devil's advocate. I think magic, hocus
You're gonna be
pocus
0 for 3, you
garbage.
know that, right?
No, it's a myth.
It's a fact.
Emma.
3 for 3. Let's go.
Vikings facts guy right here.
All right. Okay. Next one. They burn.
Wait, what did they use? Was it like beaver oil or some shit?
Hold on, I'm reading. They would collect a fungus called touchwood from tree bark and boil it for several days in urine before pouring it into something.
God,
Don't touch my touchwood.
So
They're
sodium
hygiene
nitrate.
Stay away
for
from-
using urine.
Yeah.
Stay away from my touchwood.
So this,
that ammonia.
yeah, the sodium nitrate found in urine would allow the material to smolder rather than burn.
Wow.
Mm.
I
Look
feel
at
like my perception of Vikings is completely changing.
All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
My
Vikings.
smoldering touchwood.
All right. This one, they sailed in dragonhead ships. Myth or fact?
Ooh.
That's got to be fact. Like
Yeah,
what?
it's badass too.
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
say-
please.
How do you
gonna
make
say-
that up?
I'm gonna say that's a myth. Who the fuck is carving out a dragon out of wood right now? Like, nah, that's a myth.
That's a myth.
Oh man, Saul's undefeated
So
already.
basically,
Still.
Vikings they've taken the name
Yeah.
Hollywood has all on national mediums, and then they've just done their own thing with it.
Yeah.
I mean that's how this
Pretty
goes.
much.
No,
buddy.
there's mostly there's
Have
some
you
truth
seen
to it.
Gladiator? Like, come on, man.
This is why I didn't pay attention during social studies because none of this is appealing. I want to write my own history here, and I'm going to do that moving forward.
guys, the Denver Broncos just took the lead.
Ooh,
Are you gonna tell me they didn't use like a trumpet or blow from like a tooth horn like I used to? Like I thought, yeah. Do they not even do that?
Bo's got the Jags defense, by the way.
We're about to
you
find
think-
out.
Why
No,
do
I
you
didn't.
think I know. I don't know
I didn't
those
start-
things.
Yeah, you did. You started the Jags
All right,
defense.
you got another one, or is that it?
I got one more. One more little tasty nuggie.
Let's see if Saul can finish off a perfect round here.
All right. They drank from the skulls of their enemies. Myth or fact?
That's true. That's absolutely true.
I'm going to say true.
I'm going to say that's a myth because everything that I thought was true is now not. So
Everything I've known is a lie.
But they probably didn't do it because they were like these hoity-toity, like well put together individuals. They weren't these savages that I thought they were.
Did this just like break your dreams, or
Yeah, it
what's
did.
going on? Okay. Well, you're right. So it is a
There we
myth.
Okay. All right. I got one wrong. It
Cool.
was my perfect game. Damn it.
Vikings
Lost
suck.
it in the
They're
night.
lame, and they're going to lose today. Myth or fact?
I was 4-1. Yeah. That's not so bad. So that should be a lesson to you to follow me on the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, because there's a lot of bets that I win. A lot of bets that I win when we use other apps over these two. And today you can be a winner just like me, especially if you want to vote or if you want to place a bet in the NBA, because new customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 if your team wins. You can also boost your winnings up to 100% using the DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. It's simple. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app using promo code PHNX. Remember, use PHNX to download that app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the best part of the day. Tap that app. Let's go. This is where we give our props, our locks, and our drops. Props today. We got a lot of fun ones, starting with you, Johnny.
Yeah, I said this on PHNX Cardinals. I'm going to double down. Kyler Murray, longest rush on the day, 12.5. It's actually my DraftKings pick of the week. You figure no James Conner again, Eno Benjamin, and Kyler Murray on the outside. Some read options, some zone read, some pitch plays. I think Kyler could hit this early in this game. And right now, DraftKings has a prop boost plus 100. Any prop you want. So you can opt in right now on DraftKings. Take Kyler Murray. I think he's going to have another big day on the ground, Bo Brock.
Bo?
Yeah. I like that the San Francisco 49ers are going to hold Matthew Stafford under 260.5 passing yards. It's just, I know he put up 300 against them in the NFC Championship game, but this Rams offense is a long way from that championship game win and Super Bowl win. And Kyle Shanahan, he doesn't own a whole lot of different head coaches in the league, but he owns Sean McVay somehow. He's McVay's daddy. I just think that the Niners defense shows up today and holds Matthew Stafford under that passing mark for the day.
A lot of the money is going to the Eagles today. And I understand why. But what I will say is Jalen Hurts minus 110, anytime touchdown scorer. He's not going to score a touchdown today. Matter of fact, the Eagles are not going to win by more than 10 points today either. The money line right now is at minus 11.5. I would not take Jalen Hurts, but what I would take is A.J. Brown plus 120 to be an anytime touchdown scorer. He's due. He hasn't had a touchdown, it feels like, in forever. Today he gets one, plus 120. That's easy money. I think you should take that. And then our props?
Locks.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it. I don't know what I got locked up.
My lock this week, again, the Atlanta Falcons -4. I love what they've been doing offensively. And to me, it's a team right now that's going against the fraudulent Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, if they win this game, are going to be in sole first place. I cannot imagine that actually happening. It's unfathomable. Atlanta's got Kyle Pitts. They've got Drake London. Marcus Mariota's playing good football. Arthur Smith is actually having a sneaky good year. I think they've made the most with their talent. A lot of people thought, after they sold off Matt Ryan, that this was going to be a rebuild year. They win today. They're 4-4, and they're the best team, in my opinion, in the NFC South. They're getting swallow those 4 points because Carolina, they had their Super Bowl last week. They beat Tampa. That's awesome. PJ Walker is an XFL quarterback. Nice little player. But I think Atlanta rolls today at home. I think they win by double digits.
Props to Arthur Smith as the Falcons head coach. I know he had the soundbite earlier this year about Kyle Pitts and his usage and going after fantasy owners. But he went 7-9 with that roster last year. Potentially could be 4-4 this year. Like that. And with the players, or that roster, I think is really, really impressive. Changing the quarterback in just the off-season's time. I like the Tennessee Titans -1 versus the Houston Texans. I just think that the Titans are another team that's going to surprisingly be in stranglehold of that AFC South again.
Yeah.
After all the injuries they've gone through, the poor quarterback play, but King Henry continues to be the guy. And I love the Titans just absolutely smashing the Texans.
We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, and how you feel pretty good about the Cardinals' chances today in Minnesota.
We'll talk about that.
Maybe he does. Maybe
I want to feel good about it.
But I will say they haven't won in Minnesota since 1973, I think. 77. Yeah. And I think that changes today. That's why my lock of the day is alternate spread Arizona Cardinals money line -5 today.
What's that plus money?
Plus 275.
Ooh, damn.
Because I think the Cardinals are going to win by at least a touchdown.
I do too.
So
I love that.
Drops today. To me, the easiest drop of the day was the Jets game. I'm not touching the Jets game. I understand that the Jets are a better team than they have been.
Yeah.
But I still don't trust them. I still don't trust them for shit. And today I'm not taking them.
That's definitely my runner-up, because Zappy, is he going to play? The Jets lost.
Zappy Doo.
Zappy-Doo.
Zappy-Doo.
No Elijah Vera Tucker, no Breece Hall. I don't like it. Chicago going to Dallas is a game I don't want any part of. Like, is Chicago feeling themselves a little bit after last week, beating the holy hell out of Bill Belichick and company? I think Dallas are big-time frauds. I think offensively they leave a lot left to be desired. Zeke's out this week. I know Tony Pollard's a good player. Like Justin Fields.
Zeke being out doesn't matter.
I know. But Justin Fields, to me, did a light switch come on? Because the player I saw last week looked like the player we all thought he was going to be out of Ohio State. So I think that game's close. The line is way too robust. It's still Mike McCarthy at the end of the day. Eberflus has them playing good defensively, even though they just traded Robert Quinn. There's too many factors in this game, Bo. I don't know where to go.
Yeah, but what was the wood that the Vikings used that made things that clean things? Because we need this for this game that I'm going to talk about. It's
personal hygiene.
The Carson Wentz revenge game that never happened. Taylor Heineke versus Sam Ellinger.
Nice.
And the Colts and the Commanders, and the Colts are 3-point favorites. I don't even know which direction to go. Heineke kind of boosted the Commanders' offense last week, but I've seen him play the last 2 seasons. Bigger sample size there. I just don't know which way to go on it. I am dropping this game. Commanders, Colts. It's just a mess. You got the owners that are going up against each other.
Great,
Dan Snyder and Jim Irsay. There's a lot of storylines here.
Just a couple normal owners there.
Just a massive pair of owners, and then this game is just an equally big a mess, if not bigger. The total's 39.5. It's got to be the smallest total in the NFL this year. Just stay away.
Guys, Broncos country. Let's ride.
Oh, God.
Looks like they got the dub.
Wow.
4th and 1, quarterback sneak to seal the game after Trevor Lawrence throws a pick with under 2 minutes left to go. And they choked that thing away. So it looks like Russell Wilson can continue doing high knees on the fly back to the States as the Broncos pick up the dub here on this early Sunday morning. Again, all brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And as a reminder, so much fun you can have on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bets and parlays, all this. I have a 12-team parlay. You guys want to hear what that 12-team parlay is?
Yes.
All right.
Holy hell.
Here we go. Yeah, let's do it. Let me put
Trying to pay off your mortgage? What's going on here?
Yeah, let's have a little fun on this Sunday morning, right? I got the Falcons. These are all money line picks.
Okay.
Falcons, Cowboys, Dolphins, Cards, Raiders, Jets, Eagles, Titans, Colts, 49ers, Seahawks, Buffalo Bills. I only put $5 down. If I win, I get $2,500. Not a bad deal.
I'm due for one of those. I feel like Shane hits one of those like every other week. He's like, yeah, I won $600-700 on DraftKings. I'm like, motherfucker, share those bets with me.
Seriously.
It's like, whatever, like.
And as always, make sure that you gamble responsibly. If you need help, if you can't keep your hands off the app to bet so many times, then call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. They'll get you straight. So anyway, download that app using promo code PHNX as a reminder. Let's get into this flight risk, baby.
Let's do it.
All right. Today we got the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Minnesota Vikings. Like I said, it had been since 1977 since the Cardinals have won in Minnesota. I feel like every time you feel good about the Cardinals' chances at Minnesota, they inevitably just completely fall on their face. I don't understand it, because Minnesota hasn't been like a dominant team, but they've always been just a little bit better than the Cardinals each time in Minnesota, even when the Cardinals were the better team. So, guys, what do we think today?
Well, first of all, thank the good Lord above. We finally get an early kickoff game. We're not playing at 1:25. We don't have these delayed starts. It's 10 a.m. We're going to take you right up until kickoff. And I think the Cardinals win today. We've been consistent with our takes. Bo and I both picked them on PHNX Cardinals Live on Friday's show. And I've gone even more so. I think the Cardinals win convincingly today. I think this is the first game that they jump out to an early lead because they haven't done that yet, and they hang on the entire game. I think just the return of DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray is just a different player with D-Hop, and that might present a problem 2 to 3 years down the line, but it's not a today problem. It's a tomorrow problem, and you continue to force feed him 10 to 15 targets. The secondary for Minnesota, I know Patrick Peterson's having a good year. I think it's there to be plucked and to be exploited. Jordan Hicks in space. If the Cardinals can get ample protection, Bo Brock, and I know we've got some backups playing for their offensive line, but if there was a game to test Minnesota deep, pass interference calls, big plays, let's see what Robbie Anderson can do. I think the Cardinals can dominate the point of attack, and I think they can exploit Kirk Cousins, who historically is terrible off buys.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what DeAndre Hopkins brought to the table and how the defense kind of has to show its hand before pre-snap. It was huge against the Vikings. It's going to be huge, or it was huge against the Saints. It's going to be huge against the Vikings. And if you're down DJ Humphries, you have to like your chances with Josh Jones. I mean, Humphrey's been as consistent as you can possibly be, but Josh Jones in his third year should be able to slow down Zadarius Smith or Daniil Hunter enough to work. Kyler Murray knows where he's going with the football with DeAndre Hopkins out there a lot more than he did the first 6 weeks of the season. So that should be helpful. But you can absolutely just poke holes in this one-loss Vikings team. You just look at their schedule. They beat Green Bay, sucks. They beat Detroit, sucks. They beat New Orleans, we saw firsthand. Not a good football team. Chicago's not good. And then Miami with the third-string quarterback. I mean, they really haven't played anybody. So if you're looking at this game, look at where all the money's going right now. The Cardinals were 3.5-point dogs. That's now gone to 4.5. So the money's going on the Arizona Cardinals if that spread continues to grow. I just think that the Cardinals right now, they're bucking the trends. They started to buck the trend last week. I think they continue to do it this week.
What I really love about what Vance Joseph did this week was, the Cardinals won, but they also gave up 34 points, and he wasn't happy about that, and he wasn't happy about their performance overall on Thursday night. Had this been any other game of the season, they'd have lost that game because they just hadn't shown the propensity to score at a high level. So that kind of encourages me to feel good about this defense. And because of that, one of my bets today is the fact that Kirk Cousins will throw for less than 270 yards today, in my opinion. I think that the Cardinals will step up to the occasion. I think they will make things a little exotic for Kirk Cousins, Kirky. And I don't believe in the Vikings whatsoever. I think their whole fan base is a bunch of frauds. I don't like them at all. And I think that Kirk Cousins will throw 3 picks today because he's a shitty quarterback.
I just think with Kevin O'Connell coming over there as a first-year head coach, and Vance Joseph, kind of the veteran defensive coordinator, I give the edge to Vance Joseph. I don't often say that. I should probably say it more, just what he's done with less with this defensive unit. But I absolutely love what's Saul's point, and that was hammered home not only from Vance Joseph that they had this Friday meeting where things got really heated that morning. Like he was like, they weren't like, oh, great, 2 pick sixes, 3 turnovers in that game. We're finally turning the corner, and we're the defense we want to be. They had a very real conversation on Friday morning, and we talked to Isaiah Simmons on Friday. He's like, no, we felt the same way. The defensive players felt the same way. They weren't just going to kind of say, oh, we got the turnovers we needed to do, change the game, gave us a 2-touchdown lead going into halftime. They are not satisfied with their performance, and that's just a good combination for the Cardinals.
You mentioned the player I want to talk about. So I think Isaiah Simmons, we're on the cusp, and I've had to be turned on this because, Isaiah Simmons has had let's just call it an up and down career with the Arizona Cardinals. He's playing his best football to date. He looks like the 8th overall pick. He had the game-changing interception last week. He had the forced fumble in overtime that led to the scoop and score by Byron Murphy against the Raiders. I think we're going to get another big-time impact play from Isaiah Simmons. He's got the best pass rush rate of any Cardinal on the team. That includes all their edge rushers. Send him after the quarterback. Send him after immobile Kirk Cousins. I think number 9 is going to slowly start to identify with the national people who don't follow this team as, holy shit, this is somebody that it took a little while. He had to earn the trust of Vance Joseph, But now it's like every week he's making flash game-changing plays. I don't care about, did he have 10 to 12 tackles? Zaven Collins can play that role. But like strip sacks, turnovers, right? I think this is a prime day. He could step in front of Irv Smith Jr., the tight end from Minnesota, and take a pick for a touchdown. Isaiah Simmons, I think this is going to be the game where we all sit back after the game and is like, Isaiah Simmons has arrived. He's the player we thought he was going to be. I hope I don't eat my words, but I feel so confident watching him. He's just so physically gifted, and he is still only 20, 23, 24 years old. Like, come on, young man, continue to build off what you did last week and make a play or two for your defense because they need him. We talked about it before the season, Bo. If they were going to take that next step defensively, it had to be number 9 leading the way.
I agree with that. Listen, I think everybody's wanted Isaiah Simmons to excel at a high level because of his freak attributes.
Yes.
Like you just don't see that at the linebacker / hybrid position really in the NFL. And he's one of those few guys that can cover a multiple positions and be able to listen. He's got a little bit of a chip inside of him whenever it decides to come out, right? Because he will square up and hit somebody straight into the freaking 5th row if you let him. Like, that's what I love about Isaiah Simmons. Very aggressive kind of player when he knows what he's going to do. When he doesn't, that's when you start to see him just kind of float out there, not really know what the hell he's doing, and he gets lost. So hopefully that'll change today. To me, guys, really the story of the day is it's going to be the offense versus the offense. I just don't think – I think the defenses will hold up enough, but I think you're looking at a game that's going to be in the high 20s, low 30s today, both sides. And whoever gets the ball in the last possession, I think, is going to win. And I think the Cardinals today, with Kyler Murray in tow and how they performed last week, I think they finally got a little bit of juice back because that game, the Saints game to me wasn't a fluke. It was who they were, and they played at a high level. You saw the potential of this. The other 2 wins, you could make an argument things just kind of had to fall the right way, except for the Panthers. The Panthers are just trash. But the Raiders, obviously, the key hit by Isaiah Simmons led to a lot of things. So again, I think today the Cardinals will come out and they will assert. I do have them punting on the first drive, if that means anything.
I don't like that.
I know. I do have them punting on the first drive. It's part of my parlay. But I think after that, they get back into the flow because hopefully that first drive will be 15 plays and then they punt and Cliff Kingsbury can chuck that stupid ass freaking play script out of the window. So Jose Sisuyama,
close enough.
Friend of the show.
No.
Jose, friend of the program. He's got D-Hop plus 100-yard game. And Robbie, show us what you got. Yeah, I agree.
Kirk Cousins, no 3 passing touchdown games this year so far. He has not thrown for over 300 yards in a game thus far. Kevin O'Connell, it looks like, does not want to have it be a Kirk Cousins-centric offense. And so can the Arizona Cardinals shut down Dalvin Cook enough? And Dalvin's having another nice year to make them one-dimensional because I don't even think this is the Kirk Cousins we saw last year with Mike Zimmer. This is a little bit above a game manager right now. And the Cardinals are the number 1 defense in the NFL when shutting down opposing number 1 wide receivers. So say what you want. They shut down Devontae Adams, right? They shut down DK Metcalf. Can they shut down Justin Jefferson? Easier said than done, though.
Yeah, it is. But Justin Jefferson's been going off ever since kind of a 2-week lull. At the beginning of the season, he went off 184 in the season opener, and then after that, Philly, and then a 14-yard performance. People were like, what's up with Justin Jefferson? But Byron Murphy has been so solid as far as containing wide receiver ones. And, Kirk Cousins, he's very similar, in my opinion, to a guy like Derek Carr. And this could look very reminiscent of that week 2 game, second half, against a guy like Derek Carr, where if everything doesn't go down perfect, if he can't spot his receivers quick, if the Cardinals can kind of just disrupt what Kirk Cousins is trying to do and the Vikings offense is trying to do, that they can have a lot of success. Guys like Zach Allen, guys like J.J. Watt, they need to have a big game and just kind of be in the face of Kirk Cousins because when he does face that type of pressure, he's very pedestrian to below average, and that's what you want to see. You want to see it right out of the gates. But I completely agree with you, Saul. I mean, as far as this offense, it's due. it's been due. Right?
Even with the offensive line, you would say being kind of up and down, you still think the do factors there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as having DeAndre Hopkins in there for a second straight week, finally riding the hot hands like out of necessity, right? Greg Dortch is finally getting snaps that he's deserved, and he scored a touchdown last week. I'm sure he's going to continue to get a role there. And then Eno Benjamin riding the hotter hand at the running back position because James Conner continues to be out with the rib injury. I think that plays right now into the Cardinals' favor. Guys that are just not on a heater necessarily, but more primed to kind of find the rhythm of this offense, and they're not trying to reincorporate James Conner, and they're not trying to fit some pieces back into this offense to where they're going to kind of just try to parlay their performance on Thursday Night Football into this Sunday.
How about this? Give me one sleeper player that you could see kind of finally doing something today that you didn't expect. Maybe that we haven't seen all year.
Well, I can say it till the cows come home until it comes to fruition. Trey McBride. Trey McBride plays for the Cardinals. He was their second-round pick. He's their best pass blocking.
For the Cardinals.
He was their best pass blocking tight end. I have to let people know he's still on the team. He was drafted by the Cardinals. They are very susceptible to tight end production. And we mentioned Jordan Hicks, who's got gaudy stats, but then you look at the game tape and he's a step or two behind, kind of like what he was in Arizona. He's got a ceiling. Could you get Trey McBride matched up with Jordan Hicks one-on-one down the seam? Like, wouldn't that just be the best possible gift for this Cardinal team? Get Trey McBride vertically, because you look at some plays, Kyler's missed him. He's been open. He's been open in the red zone. He's been open down the middle of the field. So I like what the icon 20634 says. He scores today. Ertz, to me, I love Zach Ertz. He looks slow and old this year.
Oh, come on.
I'm gonna be. He's
been again, like the most consistent tight end.
Consistent to catch it and then go down. I want my
Zach Ertz?
Yeah, I want my beast of a tight end, catch and run, yak baby. This is what Hopkins brought to you last week. The yak factor, the pass interference factor. The Cardinals have such a small margin for error from the guys that they relied on earlier in the season. Like, implement these other guys. Dortch is another example, but I'll go Trey McBride.
I wish you were right.
I'm not going to be right. I want it to happen,
it's
though.
It's not happening. As I almost lose my computer here. I just think it is going to be a Zach Ertz game. I actually predicted that as my offensive player of the game. I think the middle of the field is opening up, especially D-Hop being in there again. He's going against one of his really good friends. I think he said Jordan Hicks was even in his wedding. But it's like, what was the movie where Robert De Niro boxed somebody? It was like grudge match, and they're in their 60s. Like Jordan Hicks, Zach Ertz. That's the matchup today, right? It's just a bunch of old heads going up against each other. But I think there's going to be a little bit more space than Zach Ertz has seen all season long, to where he'll have some more space to maybe get 1 or 2 yards yak. He's not just a catch and fall down in place like Fitz was in his last season.
I am asking Kyler Murray to have a takeover game. Like, yes. I don't care who it is offensively. Where is the 300-yard passing, multiple passing touchdown game? How would you mention something on PHNX Cardinals on Friday? He's got 2 passing touchdowns in 3 games or something?
Yeah, he has 99. He's been stuck on 99 total touchdowns. He had 97 total touchdowns 3 weeks ago. And I asked him, I was like, are you going to get to, if you get to 100 this week, what's it mean to you? And he said, stats don't matter. But that was a long time ago.
Stats matter to me when I'm paying $45 million.
Two touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, Saul. 2 touchdowns for Kyler.
I know the running backs had good games.
The only stat that matters is, do you get the dub? That's the only one that matters.
I want a robust Kyler game.
I know you.
And I know
you do.
Because
he has 7 passing touchdowns this year.
Yeah, he needs more. Don't get me wrong.
Davis Mills has that many.
I get it. I get it.
Long ass neck.
But Davis Mills' team has not won 3 games this year, so I'll take that instead.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking Kyler. I just want to see it.
My sneaky suspicion today is I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go with the duo. I think a combination of Najee Sanders and Cam Thomas.
Nice.
I think those two are going to make one of those two is going to make a big play to cause a turnover on Kirky today, and that's and it's going to change the flow of the game. That's what I'm going to say. That's my prediction for the day. So hopefully that all comes true. Also, if you're going to the game, if you just happen to be in Minnesota and you want to go check out the Cardinals in that beautiful stadium that they have up there in Minnesota, it is a state-of-the-art stadium. It's gorgeous. You can go to the game for as low as $72.
Whoa.
And you can find parking for as low as $20. I mean, hell, why not? That's a great deal. And then if you want to go to the game next week, using the Game Time app, I should say, then you can go to the game versus the Seahawks as the Cardinals come back home and hopefully try to get above 500 if they should win today. That'd be fantastic for as low as $98. And that's a big change because if you'd seen the Game Time app in the last several weeks, you could have gone to the game for a lot cheaper. But that just means that people are very high on the cards right now. They're buying the tickets. As always, I always encourage you to wait till the very last minute to buy any tickets through the Game Time app, because you can save up to 60%. Click on the link in the show notes and in the chat. It's a phenomenal app. You can also get parking on the app, and you can get all-in pricing on the app, so you know when you check out exactly how much money you're going to spend. It's fantastic. Use it anytime. Click that link. Give us a little bit of love for that. So, guys, also these two, join them on the halftime and post-game show for PHNX Cardinals as they break down what's going on in the Vikings game. Also, we'll have 2 tickets, speaking of which, to give away again this week for the Seahawks game. Compliments of your boy. Let's go.
Where were those seats last time, Saul Bookman?
Well, it's the same seats as they always are. It'll be like 10 rows up in the south end zone.
Damn.
Yeah.
Premium seats.
I sat there for the Eagles game. Phenomenal experience. Great time. You should definitely watch these guys. They'll be posting stuff on social media, and they'll give away the tickets sometime this week. So stay tuned. For Bo Brock, for Johnny Venerable, for Emma behind the Mac, I'm Saul Bookman. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week on the PHNX Tailgate.